So, hello, welcome to all of you in my lecture today. I am going to deliver my lecture on the next part of the energy balance in non-isothermal reactor, and that is the CSTR. Okay. So, already I have discussed my basic concept regarding energy balance in CSTR in my last two previous lecture. If you have not seen that lecture, just go to that lecture. Then you will be able to understand the basic concept regarding the energy balance in the continuous state tank reactor. Now, today I am going to discuss about which types of question that is going to be asked on the energy balance in continuous state tank reactor in the GATE examination. Already GATE had asked 3 to 4 questions on the energy balance in the previous year. If you have understand the basic concept of energy balance, then definitely I'm damn sure about that you will be able to solve the questions. So just try to understand what I'm going to teach you today here. So if you will see, generally I am going to take a simple example of irreversible reaction. If A is getting converted into B and if rate constant of the reaction is K, and this is elementary reaction and first order reaction. Why elementary reaction? Why first order reaction? The reason behind that is if the stoichiometric coefficient of the reactant is 1 and if it is elementary reaction, then the order of the reaction will be the stoichiometric coefficient of the reactant. Okay, just try to understand. Now understand one thing, rate constant is given. Now if continuous state tank reactor is given, try to understand. If this is a CSTR, the reactant A is going to enter here at a flow rate of Fi naught. If Cp of A is the heat capacity of reactant A and the inlet temperature of the reactant is Ti. I am just assuming the inlet temperature of reactant is Ti. Now what you need to do here, if this is the inlet temperature of the reactant, there must be an outlet because this is a continuous state tank reactor, then there must be a material in and material out must be there. So the outlet temperature is T I am taking. So since this is a continuous state tank reactor, then there must be the uniform variable inside the reactor. So the temperature inside the reactor is T also as outside. Okay. Now understand one thing. This is a first order reaction. Now here which types of question is going to be asked, because this is a non-isothermal reaction, my dear friend. This is a non-isothermal. If you will see, in case of non-isothermal reaction, what is the basic things? If you will see, then there must be temperature change inside the reaction. If reaction is endothermic, then they will absorb the energy, and if the reaction is exothermic, then the reaction will release the energy. So that depends upon the situation, which types of process is happening. But if you have to focus on the data which is given in the numericals. Okay. Now understand one thing here. Sometimes they used to ask you calculate the volume of the reactor if non-isothermal reaction is taking place inside the reactor. So what you need to do, you have given the rate constant K1 at a particular temperature of inlet temperature Ti. Now what you need to do, if you will see the energy balance, I have already calculated in my previous lecture T naught, sorry T, the outlet temperature of the reactor or the temperature inside the reactor T is equals to Ti, that is the inlet temperature, plus minus of delta of H naught of R. Here this is Fa naught Xa upon Fa naught and Cp of it. This is the basic energy balance equation for the continuous state tank reactor. If you will see, and this is applicable for only these types of reaction right now. Okay, if the reaction is going to be changed, then you need to apply the material balance. You need to apply the basic energy balance equation. Okay, Fi naught Cp of A, because if there must be another reactant, if there is another reactant, then the situation will get changed. So you have to focus on this particular platform. Now understand one thing: if the reaction is exothermic, just try to understand. If the reaction is exothermic, then what will happen? For a exothermic reaction, delta of H naught of R, that will be less than equals to 0, means that will be negative. So this negative and negative will become positive. So means outlet temperature of the exothermic reaction. If the exothermic reaction is taking place in the continuous state tank reactor, then the outlet temperature of the reactor will be greater than as compared to the inlet temperature, because exothermic reaction is taking place and there must be energy release. That's why the reaction will be releasing the energy. That's why the outlet temperature must be greater than the inlet temperature. I think it's very clear to all of you. Now understand one thing. If you will draw the graph of this particular reaction, my dear student, then you will be able to understand how the reaction outlet temperature is going to change. That's the major concern here. I'm just going to draw the graph here. Already I have drawn this graph in my previous lecture, but again I am drawing here. Now, if the reaction is exothermic, here I am writing this is exothermic reaction which is taking place in the CSTR. So there must be an inlet temperature, initial temperature is Ti. Now, as the reactant is going to be converted into the product, what will happen? According to that, the product temperature or the reactor temperature will be changing, because here this is the value of XA. If XA will be increasing, then the outlet temperature will be increasing for a particular value of XA. So here if you will see, the outlet temperature I am assuming is T, and here if the conversion of the reactant is X, as the conversion increases, the outlet temperature increases. Why? Because this equation is equals to a plus bx. This is a linear equation and the slope is positive and intercept is also positive. So if you will see, if the value of x will increase, then the outlet temperature of the reactor will increase. So this will be like in this way. Now here the value of b, you can say slope is equals to minus of delta of h naught of r into fa naught upon fa naught into Cp of A. So my dear friend, this is our slope. So if exothermic reaction is taking place, then this slope will be positive. So the temperature will be increasing. If you will see, then a particular condition or then a particular conversion, if you will increase the conversion of the reactant or the conversion of the reactant as increase, then the outlet temperature of the reactor increases. So this will see, you can see from this particular data. Now understand one thing. You have calculated in the question, they have given at a particular conversion just XA, that is equals to 0.8. XA is 0.8. Calculate the volume of the reactor required for a particular conversion of this particular reaction. Now how we will proceed this types of numerical? So for a particular conversion, what you need to do, you can calculate the value of outlet temperature of the reactor from this particular equation. And if you have calculated the outlet temperature, then you know you can calculate the value of K2 at a particular temperature T2. Okay. Now how? If the activation energy of the reaction is given, and it will be given because it is a totally empirical thing, you don't need to calculate these things especially. Activation energy of the reaction will be given. Now how will you calculate? You can calculate from the Arrhenius equation. Now ln K2 upon K1, ln K2 upon K1, that is equals to EA upon R, and that is equals to 1 upon Ti, that is inlet temperature, minus 1 upon T2. I think you all know how to apply the Arrhenius equation. It's very basic things you all have studied in class 12 standards also in the chemical kinetics. I don't need to discuss these things. So if you can calculate the value of K2 at a particular temperature T2. Now you have calculated the value of K2. From this particular graph, you can equation, you can calculate the value of K2. Now you can apply the equation of basic performance equation of continuous state tank reactor. Now understand one thing, how we can calculate the basic equation. So if you will see, V upon V naught, that is equals to Ca naught XA upon minus of Ra. This is the basic performance equation of continuous state tank reactor. You all know, and if you don't know, then I am again going to discuss these things here right now. Then you will be able to understand the basic equation of CSTR. Now if you will see, if this is our CSTR, I am just going to derive the performance equation here right now. If the reactant is going to be enter at a concentration of Ca naught, and if it is going to be out at Ca, and if this is the volume of reactor is V and V naught is the molar flow rate. So you can understand V naught of Ca naught minus V naught of Ca, that is equals to minus of Ra into V, minus of Ra into V. This is the basic performance equation of the continuous state reactor, and this equation is applicable for a steady state, because we will be dealing with the steady state here. Now understand one thing, you can take common Ca naught minus Ca upon minus of Ra. I am just going to modify this equation, above equation only. This will be equals to V upon V naught. So from here you can get V upon V naught, that is equals to Ca naught minus Ca upon minus Ra. Again, if you can modify, you can write Ca is equals to Ca naught into 1 minus Xa. This is the basic things that you all know. So from here you can calculate V upon V naught is equals to Ca naught Xa upon minus of Ra. Now here most of the time the student used to do the mistake where in the calculation of Ra, the Ra, which temperature that you have to take, or sorry, which concentration that you have to take, that's a major concern here. Here this rate of reaction that you have to calculate the outlet temperature, outlet concentration here. Okay, so here you have to assume Ra, that is equals to K Ca, and Ca is outlet concentration. Ca is outlet concentration. That's a major concern here that you have to focus. So now understand one thing, V upon V naught is equals to Ca naught, this is inlet concentration, Xa upon K, and the value of K must be at a temperature, outlet temperature. So this will be equals to K at a particular temperature T into, that is equals to Ca. Now understand one thing, you all know the performance equation. You have to calculate the value of volume of the reactor at a particular conversion. Now you have to calculate these things. Already I have discussed how you calculate. So ln, if you assume K2 upon K1, that is equals to EA upon R, and that is equals to 1 by T1, that is inlet temperature, 1 upon Ti minus 1 upon T, that is the outlet temperature. So this is given, this will be given, this will be given R, that you have to assume. If EA is given into, then you have to take the value of R in 8.3142. Now Ti is given, T will be given. Now from here you can calculate the value of K2, and if you have calculated the value of K2, that value of K2 must be, you have to put here. Now if you have calculated the value of K2, then you can calculate the value of T. Now understand one thing, if in the question they are asking calculate the maximum volume of the reactor required for this particular reaction for a particular conversion, then what is the maximum volume? Maximum volume of the reactor required when the conversion of reactant will be equals to 1. Now whatever the process we have done earlier, only this modification that you have to do here is only you have to substitute Xa is equals to 1, and if you have substituted Xa is equals to 1, then definitely you can calculate the temperature, outlet temperature at Xa is equals to 1, maximum conversion, because maximum conversion will be 1. Now and at Xa is equals to 1, again here also you have to substitute Xa is equals to 1. Here don't forget to put Xa is equals to 1, otherwise you will get the wrong answer, and whatever the answer you will be getting there, then definitely that must be in the, that will be in the your in the option. So the focus must be, you have to concentrate on the only numerical part, the data that is given in the question. So that was the part of the irreversible reaction which is taking place in the CSTR. Okay, now I am just going to move on the reversible reaction. If the reaction is happening, or if the reaction is taking place inside the CSTR is the irreversible reaction, then which types of process will happen? So I am going to take, if the reaction is A is going to be taking place in the B. This is a reversible reaction. If rate constant of forward reaction is K1 and rate constant of forward backward reaction is K2. So my dear student, at equilibrium. Now understand one thing, what is the process of reversible reaction? There must be an equilibrium stage that will come in the reaction where the rate of forward reaction will be equal to rate of backward reaction. Means I am just talking about here rate of forward reaction that is equal to rate of backward reaction. Means forward reaction is getting converted into B and backward reaction will be B is getting converted into A. Okay. Now understand one thing here. What will be the value of K equilibrium? K equilibrium is equal to rate constant of forward reaction upon rate constant of backward reaction. That is very important thing that you need to remember. Now, if you have to calculate the XE, that is the equilibrium conversion. Equilibrium conversion is equal to K upon 1 plus K, and K upon 1 plus K. What is K? K is equilibrium constant. K is equilibrium constant. Okay. So here you can calculate the equilibrium conversion. Now understand one thing. If this reaction has achieved Xe, that is the equilibrium conversion. That is the equilibrium conversion. If this reaction has achieved the equilibrium conversion, then definitely the reaction will get stopped here, because the rate of forward reaction will be equal to the rate of backward reaction, and there won't be any reaction taking place either in the forward direction or in the backward direction. That will be the maximum achievable conversion. Now understand one thing. Now if in this reaction, if forward reaction is exothermic, then there must be a backward reaction, and this backward reaction will be endothermic, my dear student. It must be an endothermic reaction, that you need to remember. Just try to understand, if the reaction is getting converted into P is getting converted into Q, then what will happen if the delta H of R of forward reaction is negative, then definitely delta of H of R of backward reaction will be positive. So if this is an exothermic reaction, then there must be an endothermic reaction to balance this thing. Now understand one thing, which types of process which is going to be taking place. I am just going to discuss about the exothermic reaction in this lecture only. So discuss about exothermic. Alright. Now if you will see an exothermic reaction, what is happening? When the reaction will proceed, then the reaction will evolve the energy, and if the reaction is going to evolve the energy according to the Lee-Chatterjee principle, if you recognize the Lee-Chatterjee principle that you have studied in the chemical equilibrium topic in class 12, then you will be able to understand, if the forward reaction is exothermic, then if you will increase the temperature, then what will happen? According to the Lee-Chatterjee principle, the reaction will try to shift in the backward direction, because they won't be means you can understand in the simple way, the reaction won't go in the forward direction, because if you will increase the temperatures according to the Lee-Chatterjee principle. That's the self balancing principle of the reversible reaction. So if you will see, for an exothermic reaction, my dear student, if you will see the graph, generally I am going to draw the equilibrium conversion graph, XAE versus temperature. So if you will increase the temperature, then reaction won't go in the forward direction that I have told you earlier. So definitely the reaction will start to go in the backward direction. If the reaction will start to go in the backward direction, then what will happen? The equilibrium conversion will start to decrease. So from here you can see the equilibrium conversion XA is 1 here. If it is XA is 1, then it will try to decrease, and it will decrease in this way for exothermic reaction. Now understand one thing, what is happening? If you will increase the temperature, then what will happen? The equilibrium conversion will try to decrease. Then the equilibrium conversion will start to decrease. Now if you will talk about CSTR, just try to understand. In case of CSTR, what we have seen, That is the energy equation, that is equals to T equals to T naught, that is inlet temperature into minus of delta of H naught of R Fa naught Xa upon Fa naught of Cp of A. This is our performance equation, sorry, energy equation of the CSTR. Now understand one thing. If you want to increase the equilibrium conversion, then definitely what will happen? This must be decreased. So here you can see this will be like in this way. In case of adiabatic CSTR, this will be like in this case. Now understand one thing. At a particular condition, for to achieve maximum conversion, because this is the maximum conversion. Understand one thing. This is maximum conversion achieved by the for any particular reaction in the CSTR. So it is maximum conversion. You can write. Why maximum conversion? Because this is Xe and Xe is equilibrium conversion. Any reversible reaction can achieve maximum conversion, that is the equilibrium conversion. Now understand one thing. If you want to increase the equilibrium conversion, then what you need to do? You need to do is to decrease the outlet temperature, my dear student. You can decrease the outlet temperature. If you will decrease the outlet temperature, then what will happen? This will go here. Again you can see, again if you will decrease the outlet temperature, again it will go in this way. So again you can see this is going to be if you will decrease the outlet temperature, then the equilibrium conversion will increase. In case of which reaction? In case of exothermic reaction in adiabatic CSTR. In adiabatic CSTR, if you will see, if you will increase the equilibrium conversion, if you want to increase the equilibrium conversion, then you need to decrease the outlet temperature of the reactor. Now, how you can decrease the outlet temperature of the reactor? So, your outlet temperature, that is the function of your conversion. So, conversion you need to focus. You have to fix a conversion because you want a particular conversion. So, here delta H naught of reaction is also fixed if it is not going to change with the temperature. Now, only one thing that is left is Fa naught. Fa naught is your molar flow rate of the reactant A. So, if you want to decrease the outlet conversion, then you have to increase the molar flow rate of the reactant. Means you have to increase the molar flow rate of the reactant. So, if you will increase the molar flow rate of reactant as much as possible, then this denominator term will get increased and the overall term will get decreased. So, your equilibrium conversion will get increased. So, in the practical application, if you will say, in case of CSTR, if you want in exothermic CSTR, if you want to increase the equilibrium conversion, then you must decrease the outlet temperature. And how you can decrease the outlet temperature? The outlet temperature is a function of the inlet molar flow rate of the reactant. If you are going to decrease the if you are going to increase the inlet molar flow rate of the reactant, then your outlet temperature will get decreased, and if your outlet temperature is going to be decreased, then your equilibrium conversion, that is maximum achievable conversion for a particular reversible exothermic reversible reaction in CSTR will get increased. Okay, you can see the practical example of this thing is in case of H2SO4 production, sulfuric acid production. Each and every time you can't decrease the outlet temperature. So if you have fixed the outlet temperature, then you have to provide the interstage cooling, that I will discuss in my next lecture about the interstage cooling, how interstage cooling is going to increase the maximum achievable conversion for the H2SO4 production. Okay, that is the concept of this exothermic reaction in the CSTR, or in case of any PFR you are using, the reaction will be like in this way. Okay. So thanks to all of you for this particular lecture. In my next lecture, I will be discussing about the interstage cooling to increase the conversion of the H2SO4 production. Okay. Thanks to all of you.